At the second round of the Canadian Rally Championship, there are lots of familiar sights. The Rocky Mountains are as majestic as ever. The locals are just as friendly. And the weather is unpredictable. What's different this year? The machines. World-class weapons on wheels will mix it up with local heroes and championship hopefuls. It's one of the largest entries in years here at the Rocky Mountain Rally. It's a battle of drivers and co-drivers versus metal and Mother Nature in the Columbia Valley. With towering vistas framing the backdrop, the downtown streets of Invermere, British Columbia host the start of the Rocky Mountain Rally.
Yeah, it's first day of Rocky Mountain Rally here in Invermere. I haven't had a lot of time in this car, so it's going to be new to me, but I'm expecting it to be pretty good. Also, no dust this year, so it'll be good. Good battle with the Mini and Boris and his Evo, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think there's top time guys that are very quick, and considering conditions, I think it's going to be a close battle.
My goal is to beat my time, my home time. So this is the goal what I want to accomplish this weekend. I'd always try to battle myself.
Even though we're not doing the full championship, I like the front runners and being able to compete for that overall podium. It makes us all kind of push that little bit more, just can get that little bit of edge because, you know, performance-wise, we're all fairly close. So it's kind of a cool aspect of the CRC.
There's a lot of competition here, a lot of open two-wheel drive cars. The biggest competition is myself, so if somebody goes faster than me, he deserves it.
Definitely favored to be on the podium. There's some pretty stiff competition here this weekend. We got, Wim in his R2. They got me in my R2. We have Dave Clark in his BMW M3, and this year Philippe Benoit has made it out from Quebec.
I'm not worried about Jason. Wim, on the other hand, Wim's a decent driver. He's calculating. He rarely puts a tire off. I think Wim's who have to worry about. Jason, not so much.
The weather's effect on road conditions is top of mind as the teams head out to face over 100 competitive kilometers over 11 special stages. A mix of fast and technical sections combined with big elevation changes to keep competitors on edge. The Canadian Rally Championship is presented by Subaru Canada, confidence in motion. Leading the teams onto the stages, Boris Georgievic and Martin Burnley are hoping that their luck has changed. Boris has been plagued with mechanical difficulties over the past season. But the curse continues. Immediately, there's a problem. No boost, and the car is limping through the first loop, denying the fans even a glimpse of the speed this driver is capable of. Boris retires after stage 3 and will attempt to re-enter the rally once the problem is solved. Next on the road are Joel Levac and Stephanie Lewis in the blisteringly fast World Rally Mini. They lead several teams that have trekked west from Quebec, and they intend to set the pace early on, but also have a keen awareness that rallying is about endurance as much as speed. Combining years of experience with excellent equipment, Levac and Lewis are a threat for the win at any event they enter. Having won his first national rally here in 2017, Brandon Semenuk hopes to dominate the stages again. But Brandon and co-driver John Hall are in an unfamiliar car, making the switch to a Fiesta R5. The learning curve of the new car doesn't seem to be slowing him down, and he's setting top stage times immediately, a testament to both driver and machine. Sam Albert and Krista Skoukis are another team with obvious potential, but an electrical glitch appears on stage 3 and they have to troubleshoot on the fly.
4 minus right.
The car is undrivable.
Do you want me to push forward?
No, the car is undrivable. It's the connector. There's a gray connector right by your seat. I'll drive what I see.
Despite this, they maintain top 3 times on the opening loop. Having stepped on the national podium for the first time at Rally Paris-Neige, Michael Arsenault has decided to take a shot at the full championship. It isn't easy for a privateer on a limited budget to tow all the way across the country, but if Arsenault can combine consistency with pace, he'll collect valuable points at every event. But Arsenault isn't the only one with that plan. Despite a disappointing start to the season, Maxime Labrie and co-driver Annick Barrette have also crossed the country to chase the title. They've returned to their familiar, tried and tested Subaru for this round and are shooting for maximum points this weekend. Still recovering from a back injury suffered at Rally Mexico last year, American Dave Wallingford is piling on the miles in his Fiesta R5. Dave and champion co-driver Leanne Janilla are working back into their groove together, finding pace to challenge the top teams on both sides of the border. Reigning two-wheel drive champions Wim van der Poel and Brian Lord missed the first round of the season and are starting their title defense here. A master at balancing speed with consistency, Van der Poel's first challenger is Philippe Benoit.
All right, good luck, my friend. You too. It's going to be a good day. I hope so. I'm sure.
Filled with optimism, Benoit won the two-wheel drive class at Rally Paris-Neige, but is off to a rough start here. Handling difficulties are preventing him from matching the pace of the rest of the class. The two-wheel drive class is rounded out by the usual suspects. Jason Bailey is always a threat for the class win, usually trading seconds with Wim van der Poel, but Wim is struggling with gearbox issues, falling behind Bailey.
Right 4, into left 6 flat over crest.
Neither of them can catch American Dave Clark, who is using the power advantage of his BMW M3 to good effect, taking an early class lead. Semenuk leads after the first loop, but only by 11 seconds over Levac. Subaru privateers Albert, Arsenault, and Labrie round out the top 5. Clark leads Bailey and Van der Poel in two-wheel drive. The teams return to the only service of the day when we come back.
Subaru has been in Canada for a long time, building a reputation as champions in the toughest of conditions. 13-time Canadian Rally Manufacturers Champion and counting. Claim your own piece of history for $29,995. Subaru, confidence in motion.
It's the only service of the day here at the Rocky Mountain Rally, and Boris Djordjevic is in ahead of the rest of the field, deciding to miss Stage 4 and take the time penalties to try and fix the car's turbo issues. But after an effort to hunt down the gremlins, the decision is made to withdraw. The disappointment in the air is palpable. Though covered in mud, the rest of the top teams fared better.
Definitely a bit of a learning curve. First half of the first stage was pretty tough. Definitely with a new car, that's been tricky for me. But then started to get into the groove with that. I think it's just me and Levac up front kind of battling it out, which is pretty fun. So, yeah, I mean, if we can keep trading times with him, I'll be happy.
For us, the first stage we struggle a bit, and second stage it's good for us. I think we win the stage. Third one we have a flat tire during the stage, so if we lose some time, and I think the last one will be a very good time stage for us. So me and Stephanie have lots of fun right now, so everything is fine.
The car works, so when the car works, it makes the driving part easy, and we've got good notes, and we're doing what we were supposed to do. Unfortunately, on CH3 we had a little hiccup with our flat shift, so we had to go, probably 4K without notes while Chris was trying to find the connector to unplug it. Once we got it, then we got back on pace, but I think we only lost 8 seconds.
Wim van der Poel's Fiesta is usually rock solid, but today it has developed a gearbox issue.
First stage, after 5 kilometers, third gear disappeared. We drove the stage out in second gear, and then during transit we found out we had fourth and fifth, so we kept on going, and we're going good. but slow. But we're going to see. Then we came back last transit. It was stuck. We couldn't shift at all anymore, and then somebody towed us in. Could shift again, so we will see what we can do, if we can go back out or not. We are still third, so it's good.
Well, I can't decide if it's the most fun I've ever had in my life or the most terrified I've ever been. It's one of those two, but we do well in the mud apparently. So yeah, that's where we got our lead, I think. My strategy is going to be to just try and go fast enough to maintain focus, but careful enough not to do anything silly and bring it home. But we'll see. There's a lot of stages left yet.
You know, we were swapping close times, so it's not he's got a nice little lead, but it's not insurmountable, and we're gonna claw it back piece by piece.
Benoit and his team are desperately trying to sort out his Mini's issues to get him back in the podium hunt. But it's an uphill battle, both literally and figuratively, as service time runs out and the teams head back to the stages. With his confidence in the Fiesta R5 building steadily, Semenuk can shift gears and start working on extending his lead. He and co-driver John Hall drop the hammer on the first stage of the loop, taking the pace up another notch. But Levac is having none of it. He opens up the taps, limiting the stretch in Semenuk's lead to a handful of seconds. The gap is tight enough that this battle could be decided by a single bad corner, and neither team is willing to give an inch. The fight between Semenuk and Levac is leaving many other fast teams in their dust. After ending the first loop in a solid third place despite the electrical issues, Sam Albert and Krista Skoukas thought they were in good shape to defend their position, but the bad luck continues. This time, the engine is overheating and they're forced to stop, dropping them out of contention.
Triangle?
This allows Mikael and Manuel Arsenault to move up to third place, although their hold on the remaining podium spot is tenuous. They're in a tight battle with Labrie and Barrett. The two Quebec teams are trading seconds. Labrie beats Arsenault on stage 5, but by less than 2 seconds. Arsenault takes stage 6, but by a mere 6 seconds. It's way too close to call yet. The battle between the Eastern teams is keeping Dave Wallingford and Leanne Junilla off the podium, but they're in the perfect position to capitalize on any drama. They are maintaining a steady 30-second gap in 5th. Despite a 5-speed gearbox with only 4 speeds, Vanderpoel and Lord are keeping up the pace and holding on to 3rd in two-wheel drive. Many drivers would be discouraged, but Wim seems to be taking it in style. He's right behind Bailey and Stevenson, who are, in turn, challenging Dave Clark for the class lead. By the end of the day, this furious contest for the two-wheel drive podium ends with Clark and Willits in the lead, followed by Bailey. And even without 3rd gear, Vanderpoel stays in 3rd. At the end of the first day, Brandon Semenuk and John Hall have managed to increase their lead over Levac and Lewis, but only by a handful of seconds. Levac is still well within striking range. Levac trails Semenuk by 26 seconds. Arsenault just barely holds off Labrie, with Wallingford rounding out the top 5. The end of the day is a chance for the teams to reflect on strategy.
Definitely close battle with Levac, feeling way more at home with the car, but he's doing a bit of a push, so we had a nice battle there and feeling comfortable going into tomorrow.
No, we have a good loop. The last loop, it's fun, but Brandon beat me on H stage, so I quick, very quick. But I beat my owner proper time, so I'm happy, you know.
Take a 50-hour drive up here, so we are happy to be here. I think we're 3rd overall now. That's good.
We're 3 seconds behind the Arsenaults. They're doing a really great job. So tomorrow, trying to get back at them, it's going to be a very tough battle.
We're sitting in 2nd place right now, so that's okay. I'm not upset with that. But Dave Clark is beating us, and that's frankly, that's embarrassing.
I'm bummed that I wasn't able to beat Wim on Fairgrounds, and of course Jason I was always going to beat, so that wasn't even a concern.
We keep on going. It's broken. I know that, so we'll see tomorrow.
The final day of the Rocky Mountain Rally begins after the break. At the start of Day 2 of the Rocky Mountain Rally, 2 passes of the infamous Hawk Hill climb and downhill return are all that stand between the teams and the finish. It's a test of power going up and bravery coming down. Testing the limits and leading the teams will be Brandon Semenuk and John Hall. They've rapidly come to grips with the Fiesta R5, a car Semenuk had never driven before entering the rally. He's fast and smooth, and even on the first pass of the stage, he looks like he's run this car for years. Joel Levac and Stephanie Lewis are determined to make Semenuk fight for every kilometer. The pair dig deep and find even more speed, keeping pace with the Fiesta. Levac and Lewis didn't tow all the way across the country to leave anything on the stages. They finished the first stage of the loop only 3 seconds slower than Semenuk. The battle for the remaining podium spot is also reaching a fever pitch. Michael and Manuel Arsenault are leaving it all on the stages and pushing hard to try and keep Maxime Labrie and Annick Barrette behind them. But Arsenault's youthful enthusiasm is not quite enough to match Labrie's experience, and he pulls ahead of Arsenault into 3rd place. Alex Kozlov and Marin Mattis are local experts who are on pace for a top 5 finish, but mechanical difficulties end their charge at the end of the loop. Graham Bruce and Patrick Levesque are 3 seconds behind them in 6th. Barring a mistake or mechanical issue, Dave Clark and Jamie Willits are far enough ahead that they can have some fun, exactly what Clark was looking forward to. He keeps the car sideways to keep the fans cheering. Bailey and Stevenson are running out of stage distance to catch Clark, but they're also busy keeping Vanderpoel and Lord at bay. Despite missing 3rd gear, Vanderpoel keeps the pressure on his friend and rival. By the end of the first 2 passes of Hawk, Semenuk has managed to extend his lead to 43 seconds over Levac. Brake problems for Arsenault allows Labrie to pull farther ahead in the battle for 3rd. It's the last service of the rally, the last chance to make changes to setup and strategy.
First pass up and down Hawk, no real drama, just a couple smooth runs. Levac was super close to us on the first pass. He managed to take a bit more time on him on the descent. We definitely don't want to give up too much time to Levac. Like, we have 30-40 seconds on him, but you know, a flat tire slowly could change all that. So we definitely want to keep a buffer.
We started aggressive, and it ended up with a good result for us. We're currently in 3rd place. Going downhill on Hawk is always intimidating, so it was for us, but I guess it was also for other people. So I guess it was a draw on that aspect.
Yeah, I lost brake on the last stage. I lost like 40 seconds. So Labrie take the time over me. So we're 4th now, I think. We try to fix that, but I don't know. 4th is good for us. So.
Coming down without 3rd gear, and you have to go from 4th to 2nd before the turn. You have to slow down before the turn to have the right speed to put in a 2nd, and that was a major one. We lost a lot of time there. For the rest, I think the hairpin was all the way sideways and just keep on going. So that's good. That's good.
It's the run to the finish of the Rocky Mountain Rally when we come back.
Subaru has been in Canada for a long time, building a reputation as champions in the toughest of conditions. 13-time Canadian Rally Manufacturers Champion and counting. Claim your own piece of history for $29,995. Subaru, confidence in motion.
This is it, the final 2 stages of the Rocky Mountain Rally, and the teams are putting it all on the line. The Canadian Rally Championship is presented by Subaru Canada, confidence in motion. Brandon Semenuk and John Hall haven't slowed a bit through the day. If anything, they're pushing even harder, determined not just to win, but to make a statement. They've set the pace from the first stage, and they're on track to hold it to the finish. Joel Levac and Stephanie Lewis have seen their share of both success and failure. They know that with only 2 stages to go, they'd have to risk a serious crash to catch Semenuk, and there are still 6 events on the 2019 calendar.
Sur gauche 3 plus 60, gauche 3 plus 60. Et droiti, pour frein, gauche 4 se referme.
They also know no one can catch them, so they settle to bring it home. Despite working with a broken transmission, Wim van der Poel and Brian Lord prove that the rally mantra of press on regardless pays dividends, holding on to the 3rd spot on the 2-wheel drive podium. Despite running a flawless rally, Jason Bailey and Steve Stevenson will have to settle for 2nd in the class. But when you're facing off against worthy rivals, it's not difficult to accept.
Right 5 plus, line 150. End of the line 150, there's a flat left 6 into right 5 plus 80.
Bailey keeps it clean through the finish, finishing just behind the winners, Dave Clark and Jamie Willits. Maxime Labrie and Annick Barrette put their season back on track with a 3rd-place finish, making the long trek out from Quebec worth all the effort.
And finish. Woohoo! 3e place, Madame Barrette. La caméra roule.
Joel Levac and Stephanie Lewis keep it smooth and fast on the final stage. Even if they couldn't quite catch Semenuk, they surely kept him on his toes, forcing him to stay clean to the end. They take home 2nd place.
Pour droiti, 20 mètres et droite 3 plus tenir. Droite 3 plus tenir. Sur gauche 3 coupé.
But this really was Semenuk's event. Brandon and John Hall won 9 out of 11 stages, taking a commanding win in an unfamiliar car. The challenge and the accomplishment cannot be overstated, and it's a testament to both Semenuk's skill and Hall's experience. One for the history books. Semenuk, Levac, and Labrie make up the overall podium, with Arsenault and Bruce rounding out the top 5. Clark wins 2-wheel drive, followed by Bailey and van der Poel.
Yeah, overall, Rocky was a good weekend for me. New car, so it took a little while to get used to, but once we got comfortable in it, felt like our stage times were pretty strong, and we had a little battle with Levac there, so it kept it interesting instead of just kind of being in no man's land. I actually have a similar car to battle with, and we had a blast.
Brandon Semenuk and John Hall.
Brandon do a very well job this weekend. Me and Stephanie have lots of good time on that road there. So yes, very, very nice riding.
Definitely happy to be in 3rd place. That was the best we could hope for, with the 2 cars in front of us. So I guess 100% success for the team.
The competition is fierce in 2-wheel drive. I don't know if the other 2-wheel drive guys, if Wim and Jason and those guys hadn't had the issues that they had, it would have been a photo finish, I think. Don't tell them that they're good drivers and they're hard to beat, so don't tell them I said that.
With the Rocky Mountain Rally in the books, the fan favorite Rally Baie des Chaleurs in New Richmond, Quebec is just a few weeks away. We'll see you there.